Slash bang, slash glass shattered. Slash screams, slash ripped through the air, slicing through the elegant music that had once floated over the Chun Estate's grand gala. A massive chandelier swayed dangerously above the crowd, its crystals tinkling like warning bells before a storm. Guests stumbled, heels clicking frantically against a marble. Champagne bottles toppled, spraying golden liquid over the gowns and tuxedos like a river of spilled wealth. Zariah's pulse raced. Her heart hammered in her chest as she skidded across the slippery floor, one hand clutching her evening clutch for balance, the other trembling slightly. "Amira," she yelled, but the name was swallowed in the chaos. Her sister was gone. Her wild, reckless, unstoppable sister, Amira, had vanished into the panicked crowd. And Zariah knew, with a pit twisting deep in her stomach, that wherever Amira went, destruction followed. The night had started so perfectly. A grand gala for the city's elite, champagne flowing, laughter sparkling like the crystal around them. But in a heartbeat, everything had fallen apart. Then he appeared. Lee Junjie. Calm, lethal, a storm contained in perfect control. His eyes, sharp and calculating, found hers through the screaming guests. His black suit was flawless, his composure unshakable. Even now, amidst the chaos, he moved like a predator surveying his territory, every step measured, precise. "Step aside," he commanded, voice low, dangerous, almost too calm for the chaos surrounding them. "She's not going to ruin everything tonight." Zariah's temper flared. "I don't need your help," she snapped, brushing past him, heels clicking wildly. "And you don't know anything about my family." He smirked, just a flash, but his eyes were deadly serious. "I know enough." Before she could respond, slash crash slash a waiter tripped, sending trays of champagne flying into the crowd. Gold liquid rained over guests, drenching expensive gowns. People screamed, diving behind tables. Zariah slipped, nearly falling, but a strong hand grabbed her elbow. "Junjie. You'll stay upright if you want to stop her," he said, his voice calm and commanding, and somehow it both infuriated her and unsettled her. Then Amira appeared, like a whirlwind at the top of the grand staircase. Her red dress clung to her wild curves, hair a chaotic halo around her defiant face. In her hands, she waved a folder that could destroy lives, a phone streaming the chaos live for everyone to see. "Everyone deserves to know the truth," she screamed, voice raw, manic, unstoppable. The room froze for a split second, and then chaos erupted again. Gasps, whispers, screams, phones flashing. Guests shoved and stumbled, trying to escape the unfolding scandal. Plates crashed, wine spilled, and Zariah felt her stomach drop. Her sister had gone too far this time. Junjie was at her side again, his presence like a shield in the storm. "We go together," he said. "If you try to chase her alone, you'll get hurt." She wanted to argue, wanted to shove him away, but she didn't. She couldn't. Even now, in the middle of chaos, he made her feel grounded, safe, and infuriatingly alive all at once. Amira laughed again, a wild, dangerous sound that made Zariah's blood run cold. Secrets, lies, did all ends tonight. Zariah lunged for her sister, but Amira slipped through her fingers like smoke, disappearing behind a velvet curtain. "Stay close," Junjie said, gripping her hand just enough to keep her moving. His eyes never left the shadows, never left the danger. "Or we lose everything." She felt heat surge in her chest, not fear, not just fear, but something else. Attraction, frustration, admiration, a dangerous spark that she refused to name. The lights flickered. Slash screams, slash escalated. Shadows danced on the walls. Another tray of glasses crashed. A waiter fell. Zariah's heel caught on spilled champagne, and Junjie caught her just in time, pulling her into his chest. Their faces were inches apart. She could feel his breath, his heartbeat, his calm, unshakable presence. "I can handle her," she whispered, barely audible. Junjie smirked. "No, you can't." Her heart thudded violently. Then why are you still here? She demanded, frustration mixing with something hotter. Because, he said, voice low, you're not meant to face her alone. Slash bang, slash another crash. Another scream. Another step closer to total disaster. And in that moment, Zariah realized something terrifying and exhilarating. This night, this chaos, this wild, unthinkable mess her sister had unleashed had already changed everything. She didn't know if she would survive the night, or what would happen when the dust settled. But one thing was certain. In the middle of the chaos, Junjie was already there. And she couldn't escape the pull he had on her. Slash bang, slash another chandelier crystal cracked. The chaos roared, and the night had only just begun. The city's morning sun felt unreal as Zariah blinked against the harsh light filtering through her bedroom curtains. Her head throbbed, her heart still racing from the gala disaster the night before. Broken chandeliers, spilled champagne, screaming guests, it all played over and over in her mind like a horrible film she couldn't escape. And then there was Amira. Her sister's reckless stunt wasn't just a family embarrassment anymore.
No.
Amira had vanished. Somewhere in the city, alone, reckless, and dangerous. Zariah swallowed hard, the pit of fear in her stomach widening. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. You can't handle this alone. Meet me at the alley behind Chin Industries. 10 a.m.
Come alone.
LJ. Zariah's breath caught. Junjie. Of course it was Junjie. The man who had stalked her across the gala last night. Mysterious, infuriating, and infuriatingly magnetic. She grabbed her coat, ignoring her father's worried calls. She had no choice. Amira's life, maybe even her own family's safety, depended on it. The alley smelled of damp concrete and rust. Early morning garbage trucks rumbled in the distance. Zariah's heels clicked against the pavement as she approached, hand instinctively clutching her bag. And then she saw him. Junjie leaned against the brick wall, eyes sharp, black coat flaring slightly in the breeze. The chaos of the night before had followed him. Even standing still, he radiated danger and control. Good morning, he said, voice calm, deep, almost teasing, but his eyes were all business. I didn't think you'd come. I don't have a choice, Zariah said, jaw tight. My sister's crazy, and I don't need anyone else telling me what to do. Good, Junjie said, straightening. Because last night proved you're reckless enough on your own. She glared at him, and somehow, even in the dim light of the alley, the intensity between them sizzled, just like last night. Where is she? Zariah demanded. Junjie's jaw tightened. Not here. And she's more dangerous than you realize. Then why involve me? She hissed, frustration and fear mixing into adrenaline. Because she's your sister, he said simply. And because she's dragging your entire family into something you're not prepared for. Minutes later, they were in his car, weaving through the city streets. Junjie's hands gripped the steering wheel with effortless control. Zariah sat rigidly beside him, scanning every shadow, every street corner. Her chest still ached from the adrenaline, from the memory of the gala chaos, and from the magnetic presence of Junjie beside her. She's not just hiding, he said, breaking the silence. She's looking for something big, and she won't stop until she finds it. Zariah swallowed. Something that could ruin our family? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, his gaze flicked to her, sharp, unreadable. Possibly. Or worse, something that could ruin you. Hours passed in tense silence as they followed every lead, interrogated a few acquaintances of Amira's, and narrowly escaped a group of men who clearly had other plans for her sister. Every time Zariah's hand brushed Junjie's, by accident, or so she told herself, a shock ran through her, sharp and undeniable. By late afternoon, they found themselves in a crumbling warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Rusted metal, broken crates, the smell of old wood and dust. And there she was, Amira, her hair a wild halo, eyes sparkling with madness and excitement. She was holding a USB drive. You came, Amira said, a manic grin splitting her face. Of course you did. She always comes. Her gaze flicked to Junjie. And you, the famous Lee Junjie. Did you really think you could stop me? Zaraya stepped forward, fists clenched. Amira, give it to me.
Now.
Amira laughed, stepping back.
Why?
So you can destroy it? So you can protect your perfect little world. Junjie moved like a shadow, suddenly beside Zaraya, his hand gripping her shoulder. Not to restrain, but to anchor her. Don't underestimate her, he whispered. And don't underestimate yourself. For the first time, Zaraya realized they weren't just chasing her sister. They were being pulled into something far bigger. Something dangerous. Something that would test every limit of trust, loyalty, and even heart. As the sun dipped behind the city skyline, painting the warehouse in gold and shadow, Zaraya and Junjie exchanged a look. Equal parts warning, equal parts something else. They had survived the gala. They had survived the streets. But this was only the beginning. And amidst the fear, the tension, and the chaos, Zaraya couldn't help but notice the dangerous spark between them. A spark born of adrenaline, necessity, and something deeper, something she wasn't ready to name. Slash bang, slash a crate fell. A shadow moved. And the chase, the danger, the love story had truly begun. The night air was thick with smoke and tension as Zaraya crouched behind a stack of crates in the abandoned warehouse. Her heart slammed against her ribs, echoing every crash, every footstep, every whispered danger that lurked in the shadows. Junjie was beside her, calm, collected, deadly. His dark eyes scanned every corner, every shadow, every possible threat. And even in this chaos, even in this nightmare, Zaraya couldn't stop noticing the way he moved, like he owned the danger, like he was untouchable, and yet somehow, inexplicably, present for her. Are you ready? Junjie's voice broke the silence, low, sharp, dangerous. I don't have a choice, Zaraya whispered, tightening her grip on her sister's folder, the one Amira had abandoned in her manic dash earlier. They moved together, silent, shadows among shadows, until a sudden slash clang. Slash echoed from the far end of the warehouse. Zaraya froze. Amira. She was crouched atop a stack of crates, hair wild, eyes blazing, USB drive clutched like a weapon. You're too late, she shouted, laughing. Everything you love, everything you think you know, it's all about to crumble. Zaraya stepped forward, fists clenched. Amira, stop this.
Give me the drive.
Please. Amira's grin widened. Oh, Zaraya, always the obedient one. But you're too late.
And
I'm unstoppable. Before Zaraya could react, a figure appeared from the shadows. A man, tall, masked, moving with deadly precision. Junjie's hand shot out, grabbing her shoulder, yanking her back. Stay down, he hissed. She's baiting us. Don't fall for it. Zaraya's chest hammered. The danger wasn't just real. It was tangible, like a living thing pressing against her skin. And yet, Junjie's presence next to her, his hand steady on her shoulder, made her feel stronger, braver, alive. Amira laughed again, hopping down from the crates. You really think you can stop me? Both of you? Pathetic. Junjie's eyes narrowed. You're not just reckless, you're stupid. Maybe, Amira said, twirling the USB drive, but at least I'm not scared. Zaraya's stomach twisted. Her sister was insane, dangerous, and now armed with something that could destroy everything, including their families. Junjie's hand brushed hers, not accidental this time. A spark shot through her, sharp and electric. Her breath caught. She wanted to pull away. She wanted to yell. But she couldn't. Not when the danger pressed closer, not when Amira's wild grin was a challenge in itself. Suddenly, the masked man lunged. Junjie moved like lightning, intercepting him, fists flying, every movement precise, calculated, terrifyingly skilled. Zaraya ducked behind a crate, heart pounding, watching him fight like a storm made flesh. Her gaze flicked to Junjie and she realized something. She trusted him.
Completely.
Even amidst the chaos, even amidst the fear, even amidst the electric tension she refused to name. The fight ended as suddenly as it began. The masked man collapsed, groaning, while Junjie stood tall, calm, untouchable. He didn't even look winded. Zaraya couldn't help it. She exhaled shakily, feeling the pull of relief. And something else. Something dangerous. Amira didn't wait. She bolted for the exit, USB drive still clutched tight. Junjie grabbed Zaraya's hand this time, pulling her forward. "We go together," he said, voice low, almost intimate. "No more mistakes." They ran through dark corridors, weaving past shadows, past crates, past the remnants of the warehouse's decay. Every step, every brush of their hands, every glance between them sent electric currents through Zaraya. She hated it.
She did not yet.
They reached the exit. The cool night air hit her like a slap. The city lights glimmered in the distance, oblivious to the chaos, to the secrets, to the danger that had just unfolded. And then Amira's laugh rang out again, echoing from the rooftops. "She's not done," Zaraya said, chest heaving. "No," Junjie said, voice low, his eyes darkening. "And neither are we." He leaned closer, just inches from her face. The danger around them didn't matter. The sparks between them didn't matter. For a moment, the world fell away. She could feel the heat from his body, the power in his gaze, and she looked away. "We need to focus," she said, trying to sound stern, trying to shove down the pull of attraction.
He smirked.
"Always the obedient one," he teased. Her cheeks burned. She wanted to slap him, and yet she didn't move. Not completely. Amira's shadow disappeared into the night, but the storm she had unleashed was far from over. Zaraya and Junjie stood together, panting, bruised by adrenaline, but bound by necessity, danger, and something neither of them could deny. And somewhere deep in her chest, Zaraya realized the night wasn't just about chaos anymore. It was about them, and the dangerous, thrilling, unstoppable pull that had begun between them. Slash bang. Slash, a distant scream cut through the city night. The chase wasn't over. And the sparks? They were only getting hotter. The city was quiet, too calm after the storm of the last 3 days. But Zaraya knew better. Chaos never slept. It waited, lurking in shadows, in whispers, in the people who smiled politely while hiding knives behind their backs. She stood on the balcony of her apartment, arms wrapped around herself, staring at the glowing skyline. Her mind replayed the warehouse chase over and over. Amira's wild laughter, the glint of the USB drive, Junjie's hand brushing hers, the sparks she refused to name. A sharp buzz cut through the silence. Message from LJ. She's on the move. Warehouse was just the beginning. Meet me at the docks.
Now.
Zaraya's pulse surged. She grabbed her coat, her heart hammering, adrenaline already igniting. She didn't even think, she moved. The docks smelled of salt and rust. Fog clung to the water, like a ghostly curtain. The faint glow of streetlights barely pierced the thick mist. Zaraya's heels clicked against the wooden planks, echoing too loudly in the eerie silence. And then she saw him, Junjie, leaning casually against a shipping container, eyes sharp, dark, unreadable, calm, controlled, terrifyingly perfect. "You're late," he said, voice low, teasing, but edged with the seriousness of danger. "I wasn't sure I'd survive," she snapped, though her chest heaved from running, not argument. He smirked. "You underestimate yourself. And overestimate your sister." Zaraya rolled her eyes, but the comment stung.
"She's crazy," she said.
"And dangerous." "Both," he admitted. "And she's smart enough to use it." Before she could reply, a sound echoed across the water. A metallic clang, a shout, a scream. Amira. There she was, standing atop a cargo crate, hair wild, eyes blazing like fire, USB drive clutched in her hands. "You didn't think you could catch me this time," she shouted. Junjie moved first, fluid, precise, and Zaraya followed instinctively. They ran together, slipping between containers, dodging shadows, heartbeats synchronized in terror and adrenaline. Every time their hands brushed, intentionally or not, Zaraya's chest flared. Every glance, every word, every fleeting touch sent electricity coursing through her. Amira darted down a narrow corridor between containers, but Zaraya was faster this time. She lunged, grabbing her sister's arm. "Zaraya!" Amira shrieked, jerking free. "Let go. You don't understand." "I understand enough," Zaraya growled. "You're putting everyone in danger. Stop this madness." From the shadows, a figure emerged, one of the masked men from the warehouse. He lunged at Amira, knife glinting in the dock lights. Zaraya froze. Junjie reacted instantly. He moved like lightning, intercepting the man with brutal precision. In seconds, the threat was neutralized, and Zaraya felt a rush of relief, awe, and something dangerous stirring inside her. "Are you hurt?" Junjie asked, turning to her, voice low, his intense gaze scanning her face. "I'm fine," she said, though her chest still ached from adrenaline and something else. "Good," he said. Then, before she could respond, he stepped closer. "Because you're going to need your strength. She's not done. And neither is this fight." The chase continued across the docks, crates and containers creating a maze of danger. Amira's wild laughter echoed behind them, her movements calculated but reckless. At one point, Zaraya tripped, heels catching on a loose plank. Junjie's hand shot out, catching her wrist with a strength that left her breathless. "Careful," he murmured, his voice brushing against her ear. Her cheeks burned. She wanted to push him away, wanted to yell, but she couldn't. Not when every nerve in her body was electrified by his presence. Amira's shadow vanished into a shipping container. Zaraya and Junjie followed, side by side, hearts pounding, breaths ragged. Every step drew them closer, closer to danger, closer to each other, closer to a truth they weren't ready to name. Inside the container, Amira waited. Her grin was wild, manic. "You really think this ends here?" she hissed. "It's only beginning. Everything, your family, your life, your secrets, will burn." Zaraya squared her shoulders. "Not if I can stop you." Junjie's eyes met hers. For a moment, time slowed. The world narrowed to just the two of them, the danger surrounding them, the sparks crackling like fire. And then Amira lunged. Chaos erupted. Crates toppled. Metal rang. Shadows clashed with shadows. And in the middle of the storm, Zaraya realized her heart was no longer just racing from fear. It was racing for him. For Junjie. For the danger they both shared. She didn't know how this night would end. She only knew one thing. Amidst the fire, the shadows, the chaos, something had ignited between them that could never be extinguished. The night was black, thick with fog that clung to Zaraya's skin like a second shadow. Every step she took toward the old Chun warehouse felt heavier, the weight of last night's chaos pressing down on her shoulders. Her mind replayed Amira's wild laughter, Junjie's calm, yet electrifying presence, and the USB drive that could destroy everything. She wasn't alone. Junjie walked beside her, silent, precise, lethal. Every shadow, every whisper, every flicker of movement in the dark, he noticed first. And yet, despite his intensity, Zaraya felt it. The pull between them, raw, undeniable, and maddening. "You're tense," he said quietly, his voice slicing through the silence. "I'm not tense," Zaraya snapped, though her voice betrayed her. Junjie's dark eyes flicked to hers, lips curving slightly in a smirk. "Sure." They moved like shadows themselves, dodging puddles, crates, and the occasional loose plank that threatened to betray them. Every brush of his arm against hers, every accidental touch sent sparks crawling across her skin. She hated it. She hated that she wanted more. Inside the warehouse, the chaos began anew. Amira stood in the center, USB drive raised like a weapon. Behind her, masked men moved with dangerous precision, circling like predators. "You came," Amira said, wild grins splitting her face. "Did you really think you could stop me this time?" Soraya swallowed hard, stepping forward. Give it to me, Amira.
Now.
You're putting everyone in danger. Amira's laugh was sharp, manic. Danger? Oh, Soraya, you don't understand. I'm the only one telling the truth. Everything your family has built, every lie, every secret, it all ends tonight. Junjie moved to Soraya's side. Step back, he warned, voice calm, deadly. Let me handle this. Soraya's chest tightened. She wanted to protest. She wanted to fight alongside him. But instinct told her to trust him. And she did. The first attack came fast. A masked man lunged at Amira, but Junjie intercepted him with blinding speed, taking him down effortlessly. Another man followed, and Junjie's fists became a blur, precise, unstoppable. Soraya ducked behind a crate, heart hammering, watching him protect her and fight with terrifying perfection. Then a second shock. Amira bolted toward a shipping container, USB drive in hand. Soraya ran after her, but Junjie grabbed her arm. Not alone, he said, voice low, intense, almost intimate. She froze, heat rising in her chest. His grip was firm, grounding her in the chaos, and for a moment, the danger and adrenaline melted into something else, something hotter, more consuming. Together, she whispered. Together, he echoed. They chased Amira through the maze of containers, crates, and shadows. Sparks flew, not just metaphorically, from every brush of their hands, every glance, every shared breath in the tense darkness. Finally, they cornered her. Amira's wild grin faltered slightly. You actually came, she said. Both of you. We don't leave family behind, Soraya said, voice firm. Even when they're insane. Amira's eyes flicked to Junjie. And you, who are you really? She hissed. Why are you helping her? Junjie stepped forward, dark eyes locking on hers. Because I don't let anyone destroy what I care about. And right now, she's mine to protect. The words hit Soraya like a bolt of lightning. She felt it, the pull, the undeniable attraction, the fire between them. Amira laughed again, louder this time, almost defeated. You think you've won? This isn't over. She tossed the USB drive into the air, but Junjie was faster. He caught it mid-spin, eyes never leaving Soraya. Got it, he said, calm. But then his hand brushed hers, again, and Soraya felt the spark ignite into fire. The warehouse was silent for a heartbeat. And then Amira's final defiance. She bolted, disappearing into a side exit. Junjie grabbed Soraya's hand. Stay close, he said. She's not done. Soraya swallowed, chest tight. She wanted to argue, to push away, but she couldn't. Not when he was there, steady, dangerous, irresistible. And for the first time, she realized this wasn't just about saving her family anymore. It wasn't just about stopping her sister. It was about them, the fire that had been growing in the chaos, the sparks that were impossible to ignore. Outside, the night air was sharp, cold, but it didn't matter. Because standing there, hand in hand with Junjie, heart racing, Soraya knew one thing with terrifying clarity. Their story had only just begun, and it was already on fire. The Chun estate never looked so quiet, or so vulnerable. Soraya stood at the edge of the grand driveway, staring at the enormous gates that had once promised safety. Tonight, those gates felt like a lie. She could still feel the adrenaline from the docks, the warehouse, Amira's wild defiance, and Junjie's unshakable presence beside her. Stay close, Junjie said, his hand brushing hers, just enough to make her pulse skip. We don't know what we're walking into. Soraya swallowed hard. She didn't need the reminder. She knew Amira wasn't just dangerous. She was unstoppable. And tonight, she had brought her chaos home. The lights inside the estate flickered ominously as they entered. Soraya's father, usually calm and imposing, paced the grand hall, his face pale, eyes sharp with fear and fury. Amira, he demanded, voice trembling. Where is she? What have you done? She's here, Soraya said, voice steady, though her stomach churned. And we're going to stop her before she ruins everything. Junjia's hand found hers again, grounding her, steadying her. She hated how much she needed his strength, and yet she did. A loud crash echoed from the upstairs hallway. Glass shattered, frames fell, and then a scream. Amira. Without thinking, Zaraya bolted toward the stairs, Junjia right behind her. Their movements were synchronized, almost instinctive. Every brush of his arm, every step beside him sent sparks crawling across her skin, danger and desire intertwining in a way she couldn't ignore. At the top of the stairs, Amira waited, wild, unhinged, waving the USB drive like a weapon. "You came," she hissed. "All of you. Too late to stop me." Zaraya's chest tightened. "Amira, give it to me."
Now.
Junjia moved to her side, voice low and deadly. "One step closer, and you won't leave this room alive." Amira's grin faltered slightly, but then she bolted down the corridor. Zaraya and Junjia followed, weaving through the opulent chaos her sister left behind. Toppled vases, scattered papers, broken glass. The house was on fire with destruction, and Zaraya's heart mirrored it, wild, racing, alive. They reached the study, the room Amira had been aiming for. Inside, family secrets lay exposed. Documents, letters, photos. Amira was rummaging through them, eyes blazing. "Everything your father built, all the lies," she spat. "I'm going to show them." Zaraya's stomach twisted. The folder Amira carried could destroy the family. Everything she had fought to protect, everything Junjia had sworn to guard, hung by a thread. Junjia stepped forward, catching Amira in a calm, firm grip. She struggled, but he held her effortlessly. His eyes, dark and intense, flicked to Zaraya. "Help me," he whispered. Zaraya hesitated and then grabbed her sister's other arm. Together, they forced Amira to drop the folder. Papers scattered across the marble floor. Amira gasped, defiant. "You think this ends here? You think I'm done? I'll burn everything down before I let you win." Zaraya stood, chest heaving, eyes locked on her sister. "Amira, I don't want to fight you. I just want you to stop hurting people. Stop hurting us." Amira's gaze softened for a fraction of a second, but then the madness returned. She bolted again, this time toward the terrace. Junjia and Zaraya followed. The terrace was open to the night sky, moonlight casting silver shadows. Amira turned suddenly, USB drive raised. "I won't let you take it." Junjia stepped in front of Zaraya. "You're not hurting her. Not tonight." Amira lunged, but Junjia caught her mid-step, strength and precision combined. For a heartbeat, time seemed to stop. Zaraya's heart pounded in her chest. She could see the danger, feel the sparks, feel the pull between them in every tense, shared breath. "Enough," Junjia said, voice low, dark, commanding. "This ends tonight." Amira's resistance faltered. She was breathing heavily, exhausted, cornered. And for the first time, Zaraya realized her sister might finally be vulnerable. Junjia's hand found hers, firm, grounding, electric. She didn't pull away. She didn't want to. "Together," she whispered. "Together," he echoed. And in that moment, amidst chaos, danger, and family secrets, the unthinkable began to bloom. Trust, fire, and the undeniable pull of something forbidden and beautiful. But as the night stretched on, Zaraya knew one thing with terrifying clarity. Amira's chaos wasn't over, and neither was the storm coming for them. The Chun estate had never felt so alive or so deadly. The night air buzzed with tension, shadows dancing across the marble floors like predators. Zaraya's heart hammered, adrenaline thrumming through every vein, every nerve on fire. Junjia's presence beside her was like gravity itself, pulling, grounding, yet igniting sparks she could no longer deny. His hand brushed hers, not accidental this time, and she didn't pull away. Not when everything was on the line. "Tonight," he murmured, low and intense, "we end this. Together." "Together," she echoed, her voice steady, though her chest raced. From the shadows, Amira appeared, wild, unhinged, the USB drive clutched like a dagger. Her eyes blazed, reflecting years of rage, betrayal, and secrets she had hoarded for too long. "You think you've stopped me?" she shouted. "You think this is over? It's only just begun." Zaraya swallowed hard. She could see it now, the hurt beneath Amira's madness, the twisted love and jealousy that had driven her sister to ruin. And suddenly, she realized something terrifying. Amira wasn't just dangerous, she was desperate. Junjie stepped forward, his dark eyes locking on hers. "Step back," he warned, voice deadly calm. "It ends tonight. For all of us." Amira laughed, a sharp, insane sound. "No one tells me what to do. No one." And then, the storm erupted. Amira lunged, but Zaraya was faster this time. She grabbed her sister's arm, pulling her into a desperate embrace. "I'm not your enemy, Amira," she shouted, tears blazing in her eyes. "I'm your sister. Don't do this." Junjie moved in, his hands steady on Amira's shoulders. "It's over," he said, voice low, commanding, magnetic. "You can't destroy what you don't understand. You're not alone." Amira froze. For the first time, hesitation flickered in her wild eyes. "You always had someone to protect you," Zaraya said, voice shaking. "And that's me."
Not them.
"Not the lies."
Me.
Amira's grip on the USB drive faltered. She dropped it. Junjie caught it midair effortlessly. The danger, momentarily, was neutralized. The silence after was deafening. Zaraya's chest heaved. Junjie stepped closer, eyes never leaving hers, the distance between them charged with something undeniable, unstoppable, and dangerous. "You've been through hell," he murmured, voice rough with emotion. "But you're here. You survived. Together." Zaraya's lips trembled. "We survived. Together." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, all the chaos, danger, and fear dissolved into something raw, consuming love. Junjie's hand brushed her cheek. Zaraya's breath caught. She didn't pull away.
Couldn't.
Their lips met, tentative at first, testing, tasting, then exploding into a fire that matched the storm of the past days. It wasn't just a kiss. It was release. It was danger.
It was trust.
It was everything. Amira watched them, silent, chest heaving, the fire in her eyes replaced with something else. Understanding? Resentment? Relief? "You win this time," she whispered, voice small, almost human. And for the first time, Zaraya saw her sister, not just as a threat, but as someone broken, desperate, and in need of love too. Junjie held Zaraya close, their foreheads touching. "No one else can hurt you."
Not now.
Not ever. Her heart pounded against his chest. The adrenaline, the chaos, the danger, they were still there, but it didn't matter anymore. They had survived. They had won. And amidst the ashes of the storm, amidst family secrets and the madness of Amira's recklessness, something beautiful had begun. A love forged in chaos, trust, and fire. One that could survive anything.